Welcome to day two of a migrant's journey. This is a program that I made up, just to archive stories and share different migrant stories, which is often painted as a rosy picture for people outside Australia, but migrants usually struggle a lot. So I just wanted to put the reality out there, what the story looks like and how things go. So today is episode two. Welcome to all our viewers and good morning. We are live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you like this video and if you would like to keep following this, please subscribe me on YouTube or follow me on LinkedIn. So today we have another international student, Sourodip, with us. He works as a risk analyst at Deloitte right now. So good morning and welcome, Sourodip.
Uh, Good morning, Vinesh. Good morning to all. And thank you for the intro, Vinesh. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you can probably introduce yourself. What do you do now? And yeah.
Okay, so my name is Sourodip. I did my master's in data analytics from Deakin University, which is in Melbourne.
Mhm.
And currently I'm working as a risk analyst in Deloitte. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I've known you for about a year now. I
Yeah,
think, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You
The
jumped
first
in,
networking walk.
yeah, you
Yeah,
jumped in into my one of my network walks, and that's how you met.
yeah,
So
yeah,
a lot of things changed after that. But
yeah.
before you start, let's go to the beginning. I mean, when did you move to Australia? How was the move like? And I don't think you started looking for a job or actively looking for a job during your studies, or I don't know how that works. But what's your story? I mean, let's start from the beginning and get to the fun part later.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So I was working back in India with Larsen and Toubro, and I think I did almost work there for 4 years. And during that time, I did a course on big data. And that's where I got really intrigued with data analytics. And I wanted to pursue a master's degree. And luckily, I chose Australia. And I I came to Deakin, I think it was 2017
Hmm.
October. So I came all alone, and it was a really new experience for me coming to a new city
Yeah.
all alone. So was really,
How was the first few weeks or months like?
I would say the first day, when you need to cross the road, you have to press the button, right? Uh,
We are not used to
I
that
just
at all.
stood there. I just stood there. I was thinking, why is it not turning green for
Yeah,
me to walk?
yeah,
Then I came to know. So
yeah,
that was my first experience.
yeah.
And one of the very nicest experience I had was in during my first week. I think I went to a store to get some groceries,
Mhm.
and the lady in the counter, she greeted me, and that is not something we are used to back in
Yeah,
India, right? So that was a very unusual experience for me. I was like, okay, what? Why did she greet me?
same
Then,
experience. I went to the 7-Eleven on the
yeah,
first day to get a Mikey card, and
yeah,
the cashier greeted me saying, "Hi, how are you?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say."
yeah.
Yeah,
But then I came to know that this is the culture in
yeah,
here.
yeah.
People are quite friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So again, let's sticking on to the job activities
yeah, yeah.
or what we are doing. I mean, how did your graduation phase go? I mean, how did your studies go in, and how was it different from what usually happens in other countries?
Um, I can't say about other
Yeah.
countries, but with India, the thing is in India, when I did my bachelor's, we had a fixed timetable, and even if you don't like, you have to go to
Yeah.
uni because attendance is something which is quite compulsory.
Yeah.
Whereas in here, it was all up to you. They left everything on you. You need to take ownership of your career.
Mm.
They are not going to make you do anything. So I like that approach. And the teachers or the professors, they were very approachable, and I like the course, the environment. It was really friendly, and it was really amazing. I
Uh,
had a really good time during my college.
that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. So um, now, uh, when did you start looking for a job, and how did it begin?
So I graduated, I think last year, July.
Hmm.
So after that, I started looking. Before that, I used to apply online, but it was after July that I started searching very actively. And I was under the impression, like maybe we Indians too, because we are so used to that. If you in India, if you are studying in a college, there is something called as placement cell. So
Mhm.
companies come to your university, and if you are good enough, they will pick you up.
Yeah,
So during my bachelor's, I got selected like that, and I was quite confident that it would happen something similar like that, but it didn't go that way, and it was quite tough initially. I was not able to uh, get a grasp, because you apply for a lot of jobs and no one replies.
yeah,
That is something
yeah,
you understand once you start applying. Um, but that's when I started going for networking events,
yeah.
and it helped me a lot, I would say.
So,
Uh,
I mean, I think I've seen you for a long time, starting from the first network walk to where
yeah,
you are now. I've
yeah,
said this in one of the
mm,
events hosted by Ashita in the
mm,
past.
yeah,
You've changed a lot. You've drastically
yeah,
changed your the way you look at things, the way you appear. Everything has changed. So,
yeah.
what did these networking walks do to you? I mean,
Um,
yeah,
So I was like very introvert. Like first network walk, I had reached earlier, and I was thinking, should I stay or should I go back? Because I am not very comfortable speaking to unknown people, but still I stayed back,
yeah.
and
So,
I spoke to.
before you get into that, probably you can
Yeah,
explain what a networking event is. I mean, not
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
is used to what happens in there or what it is about. So you can probably touch on that point and then get into your experience.
So networking events can have a lot of different topics. It could be based on technology, it could be based on public speaking or jobs. So, what they do is you have a lot of different people in those meetups, and some of them are working, some of them are recruiters, and you get a very good perspective of what is going on in the market. You might think that, okay, you are very good at your field, and when you go for those meetups, you will know what is the trending technology, and you know that if you need to upskill yourself or not. And with public speaking ones, they give you a lot of confidence.
Mm.
You get inspired a lot, because I have seen a lot of good public speakers. They were not born that way.
Yeah,
They train themselves to become good public speakers. So that inspires a lot.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. So now you started networking, and how did your perspective of job search change after that? I mean, what changed, or how did you shift your approach over there?
Um, Firstly, I stopped applying for like 10, 15 jobs a day.
Wow,
That was my
shocking, shocking. I mean, explain that.
yeah. Yeah. So I did once. I did like one day. I did like I applied for like 10 jobs, and I think nothing happened. Okay, and I then went for your meetup, and there I came to know that, okay, you should not be applying for those many jobs. You should not be spamming your resume. And after that, I started applying very selectively, because it used to take me a lot of time to prepare my resume and cover letter specific to the job description. So it's not that easy, I would say, to
Yeah,
apply 10 jobs a day, meaning you are not spending that much time on your resume or cover letter.
yeah.
And the next thing I would say is my perspective changed by meeting people, and there were a lot of people who were quite senior, who came on their PR, and I used to talk to them a lot,
Hmm.
and that's where my perspective, I would say, changed. They would suggest me things on how to approach certain things, and look for um, internships in city councils also, which is really a good thing. So uh, what I felt was, you can't Google things. Like, you can't go through Google and get a lot of information. You
Hmm.
need to go out, meet people, and that's when you come to know things. Like, I met a guy called Ankit,
Hmm.
and he told me about a sports tech hackathon,
Yeah.
and I would have never known about it. And
I think I'll take credit for that. I think you guys met
yeah,
in my meetup as well, so I'll take
yeah,
credit for
yeah.
that. Uh, so You mentioned about internships as well, right? That's very
Yeah.
common thing over here, especially for students. So, can you shed some light as in how does one approach it, and what benefits do you give? Does it give to a individual?
Um, for me, my internship was very went very easily because one of my friend had already worked and he referred me.
Hmm.
So I went for the interview and I
That's it.
got it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. For internships, a lot of colleges, universities have something called as um, job fair.
Hmm.
So you can always go and talk to them for internships.
Mm.
So the good thing what happens in an internship is you go and work on your field, and later on when you are applying for a job somewhere, those people can come and refer you, right? Because they have seen you working, they
Yeah,
can vouch for you.
absolutely.
So that is one good thing which happens, because uh, networking is good, it's really good, but sometimes people need to know how good you are, right? Whether
Absolutely.
they can vouch for you.
Yeah,
So that happens if you do an internship under someone.
yeah.
So I had a really good experience working in a company called Cypress,
Hmm.
and the managers were really nice to me,
Yeah,
I would say.
yeah.
And they were the ones who were my referees for Deloitte also.
Brilliant.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, thanks. So, by the way, to our viewers on LinkedIn or YouTube, please at least say good morning, if even if you're watching a replay or even if you're watching live, because I'm not seeing any comment, although I see there are 15 plus viewers on LinkedIn. So, hi, hello, how are you? So, okay, coming back to the conversation, Sauradeep. Um,
yeah,
um, I think students specifically, they expect to things to happen once they graduate over here. But
yeah,
unfortunately, that's not the case.
yeah,
For you, it took a long, long time. It took
yeah,
7 months.
yeah,
And to anyone who international student who is watching that, just realize that that's okay. I mean, people take even longer. That's what
yeah,
I hear to get a job.
yeah.
So, uh, how was your journey in finding a professional job over here?
Um, to be honest, it was not easy, but initially I was expecting, oh, why is it not happening? I was a bit panicking,
Mm.
but then I realized you can't have a hard and fast timeline to get a job.
Yeah.
You need to let it run its course, and with every interview you go, and if you don't get it, it's a good thing. You come to know what your shortfalls are and how you can improve. So I had an interview which didn't go that well, but I asked for the feedbacks and I knew what are the things I need to work on.
Mm.
So it's it's good.
Yep.
And I would suggest, see, sometimes job search can be very taxing on
Mm.
someone. It really takes a lot of your time and you can get frustrated. I also got
Yep.
frustrated. So what I did was, I think January I took off. I was like, I'm not going to do any job search January. I worked in Australian Open as a customer service, and
Yeah.
it was really good. Really, um it refreshed me,
Mm. Mm.
revitalized me, I would say. So it was really good. I knew that, okay, I can come back and again start. So I would suggest people to take a break when you
Absolutely.
feel frustrated.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I think everyone woke up now. I'm seeing a lot of messages saying good morning. Thanks for that. Well explained, Sauradeep. And it's very important to um, go into those challenges head on rather than giving up easily. And that's what
Yeah.
you explained. One thing that I'd like to mention is what is a part-time job scene like? Because I know you have referred a lot of my connections to the
Yeah.
places you know, and a lot of my friends have actually had got a part-time job just because of you. So how does that work? Just to give a feel of how that works.
Again, for getting good part-time jobs also you need a lot of networking.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I felt it's same as getting a professional job.
Mm,
uh, because if you want to work in somewhere like Coles or Woolworths, you need reference.
mm,
Sometimes you don't if you are lucky, but um, I would say go and work in here, because that way you can know the culture more. If you're working with people from different cultural backgrounds, you know how this country works, And when you are applying for jobs, you can always use those skills and show them that, yeah, you have been a customer service representative, so you can talk to people, you can help them with their query. So try to go have those stories in your resume or in your interview
Hmm.
to showcase those skills that you possess.
Yeah,
And getting a part-time job is similar as a professional, but have a good network with your friends. They are the ones who will help you with
yeah,
a casual job, actually. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, how did Deloitte happen?
So I
I,
had
I know
applied.
you really wanted that and you kind of spent a lot of time into getting into that. So,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. So I had applied for grad roles actually in Deloitte, and it didn't go through. So, but uh, but I think it was November when I had applied for this role, and I almost forgot. And suddenly, December they called me, and I was like, okay, I had applied for this role, but I need to check what was the job description. So I went through it quickly because I used to keep everything in a folder where I the roles I have applied, because it becomes very hard to track otherwise.
Yeah.
So then I had my first interview. The second was the one with which you have with your partners,
Hmm.
and also a case study. That's where I feel if someone who is going for a partner or case interview, that's where you need to shine. You need to show why they should hire you. So after partner interview, they do a lot of checks, and that's how it happened for me. But I didn't get it through a network or something, but networking helped me in there also, because I could go and talk to people. I
Yeah,
could go and
absolutely.
express myself. It's not that every time networking means getting a job, it
Yeah.
means building your self confidence also.
I,
Yeah.
I I think that getting that perspective is key. Networking
Mm,
is when you do networking
mm.
just to get for a job, it can be frustrating and you
Yep.
probably may not even get the result and eventually
Yep.
you give up. So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
a big thing. We have a question from Sachin on LinkedIn. He's
Yep.
asking what are the challenges that you face might be during the internship or at work as an international. Yeah. So anything that you any challenges or any such instances where you couldn't get an Aussie joke or something like
Oh, okay. So I would say I have not been much into footy. So
that.
go and start watching footy
Yeah,
because
I think
they
that's the
are
first
really into
advice
it.
I've got. I mean, if you're in Melbourne, you have to watch footy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's where I feel I'm a bit lacking. When they start talking about footy and the player names,
yeah,
I'm lost there
yeah, yeah,
actually.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
So, what you've gone through your journey, and you still see a lot of international students or even migrants still struggling. What would
yeah.
your advice to them be? I'm sure you've seen uh, different perspectives of how your friends are working out and how it's not working for them. So, what would your advice be to them, Saurav?
First is, mm, see, I had no idea about this networking concept when I came to Australia.
Hmm.
But if you are a student, I would say the sooner you start, the better. So if you start going for networking events in your first year, you get the pulse of how things happen in this country.
Hmm.
And secondly, I would say don't give up. I have seen a lot of people, they will come for networking events like 2 3 4 times and then they will give up. So that's not the spirit, I would say.
Yeah.
uh, a lot of them are um, quite intelligent, quite smart enough to get, but
Hmm.
it's their maybe social skills, or they don't have that network in here. So I would suggest go for networking events as much as you can and try to make a meaningful connection, because I started going for events like it was, I think, 2 or 3 times a week, I
Hmm.
would say. And I started meeting the same people again and again. We became friends.
Yeah,
And that's how you connect, because first time when you meet someone, you are not going to become friends, or
absolutely.
he's not going to refer you.
Yeah.
You need to meet the person like 2 3 times, and that's how it happens. So not giving up would be my first suggestion,
Yeah.
because I see a lot of people giving up too soon. So you might not know. Maybe if you had uh, worked for it for a month more,
Hmm.
you might have got something. So yeah, it's tough. But I have seen a lot of my friends who didn't had any work experience, prior work experience, who got placed into good companies, Wipros, Deloitte, Telstra. So it does, you don't always need a work experience to get a job. A
Absolutely.
lot of people have that misconception that you need experience. I don't have experience, I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah, absolutely. That brilliantly explains, Sauradev. Now, last question.
Yeah,
How did my meetups or my content or your interaction with me help
yeah.
you in this journey?
So first I will start with your meetups.
Yeah,
So
that's where it all
I
started.
yeah. So the first meetup, I think it was in Docklands.
Yeah.
So I went there. I You can see a lot of people in there who are also in the same place as you, and there were a lot of success stories which inspires you, because s- someday they were also in our shoes
Hmm.
as a job seeker. So it inspired me a lot. And also hearing from others. Then the thing which was most crucial for me was getting to know, not applying 10 jobs a day, articulating your
Yeah.
resume and cover letter based on the job description. Then LinkedIn was something I hadn't thought that much about then.
Hmm.
But how to make a professional LinkedIn profile, how to have your image and everything, that was something I learned from your meetups. Then there were career coaches, and it was, I think, one of the meetups they said, why don't you go and build something so that you can show it in your resume, like
Absolutely.
uh, yeah, a website, say, okay, I have built this, so
Hmm.
they can see what you have worked on. And those are the suggestions which I think are quite helpful for a student or for anyone. um, Apart from that, there will you get to meet a lot of managers, say a lot of people who are working in the industry, and you get to know what are the technologies which are currently in use, which are
Hmm.
currently in demand.
Yeah.
So those were the things I really liked from your meetups, and I made a lot of friends in there.
Yeah.
So
So
that's one
I
thing.
think having those friend circles and having those connections who can support you and who you
Yeah,
can have fun with was
yeah,
especially Ankit. Ankit is a good
yeah,
friend of both of
yeah,
us. So
yeah,
I think that
yeah,
is one cherished friendship that happened out of these. So
yeah, yeah.
thank you for sharing your story, Sauradeep. I'm sure our viewers, I think they're having fun. It'll be a good
Uh,
fun for you. You have anything else to say, Sauradeep?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
go for it.
So that was your meetup,
Yeah.
and
Okay. You
for
didn't finish your answer. Sorry.
uh, for you, I would say I really like that you have that intensity of keeping it going. Like, I think network walk is now a year old, right? It's
Yeah.
not that easy to come out every day from your work 12:30 and just go half an hour, because
Yeah.
I currently I'm working and I can see that I it's not that easy to
Yeah.
just walk out to do something which is uh, beneficial to others mostly. So um, it takes a lot of courage, and I'm really grateful what you did
Thank
for
you.
all of us in
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So, uh, to again, thanks for sharing that. I mean, I'm absolutely grateful for you to say some nice things about me. I mean, and just FYI to our viewers, I didn't pay him to say that. He just said that because he really likes me. But thanks for joining us in this early morning session. Today is just episode 2 of week 1. I think I'm booked out for the next 2 weeks, so we'll have a lot of stories coming up every morning. Again, if you want to follow this, if you want if you want to support me on this, please leave a comment, like, or even if you're watching the replay, just say hi, hello, and if you have any questions, of course, leave in the comments, and I'll probably come back to the questions, or even Sauradeep can take a look and
Yep.
have a chat. Connect to Sauradeep or connect to me if you need more information or if you have any questions at all. And finally, again, thanks a lot for joining us this morning. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Saradip.
Thank you, Vinesh. Thank you all.
All right.